velocity component multiplied with mass, or
or
which
which
considers
considers
it to
to
be
be
bulk
bulk
motion of
motion
the
of the
fluid.
fluid.
Okay,
Okay,
and
and
it has to be multiplied with the product has to be taken with the scalar which you are tracking. So physically, this means the scalar is transported by the bulk motion of the fluid. Okay, so by transportation we mean the carrying throughout the medium, the domain, by virtue of bulk motion of the fluid. Okay, this is what you mean by transport. Okay, so the carrying of the quantity or the transfer of the quantity within the domain is what is referred to as transport. So it can be momentum, it can be energy, or whatever physical quantities or physical functions we can imagine. Okay, uh, anything can be transported, even turbulence, anything. You can discuss any physical quantity can be transported by the motion of the fluid. Okay, so this is why while you track the terms that is involved, you see that uh, you have the mass multiplied with velocity, and then you have the transport of the quantity phi, which is either temperature or moment u. Okay. Now on the right hand side, you see another term, which is again the divergence form, which you identify to be a diffusion part. Okay. Why we call this as diffusion? Because it is a part of the Laplacian. Okay, and you see that elliptical equations represent diffusion. And here, the gamma is a common term which you can reorganize, or you can identify whether to be you have to substitute k by Cp for the energy, diffusion of energy, or you can even think about mu, that is applicable for the viscous diffusion. Okay, so you can think about that to be the interchangeable parameters. Okay, according to your physics. Okay. Now, once you establish a single diffusion, convection diffusion equation, you then later understood that you can identify some sort of clubbed parameter, that is rho times u, which you can call as the strength. Okay, the strength of advection strength. Okay. Similarly, on the right hand side, you have a gamma by delta x, gamma being a physical quantity, and delta x being a geometrical quantity. Okay, whatever I tell you, you should understand this in the right perspective. Okay, so gamma being a physical quantity and delta x being a geometrical quantity. So in CFD, you have a control over the delta x, the geometrical properties. Okay, I repeat again, in computational fluid dynamics, the person who works on the software, who writes the code, he has a control over the geometrical properties, because he decides what should be the grid spacing, the locations from which the information has to be taken for calculation. So it is up to his wish that the computation takes place. But if you see the property mu, viscosity mu, or rho by Cp, density Cp, these are the physical parameters which the person has no control over. So when you detail the diffusion strength, when you detail the diffusion strength for a problem, gamma by delta x, okay, please be aware that you have some control over that. Okay, you have some control over that by virtue of controlling delta x for the simulations. Okay, so for advection strength, you don't have a control because the density and velocity is dictated by the flow properties. But in diffusion strength, definitely you have a control because the delta x is what you provide to the computer. Okay, please be very careful understanding this, because this is the essence of the further things which I try to tell you. Okay, now you write this equation in the form of suffix notations, the advection strength at the eastern phase into the scalar at the eastern phase minus the advection strength which is happening at the western phase into the scalar at the western phase is equal to the diffusion, the gamma value, okay, whichever is the viscous or rho by k by Cp value, into the gradient of the scalar at the face, okay, minus the gamma at the western face into the gradient of the scalar at the western face. Okay. So on identifying this, the derivative, first derivative of the scalar with respect to the space, what you generally call in mathematics as the slope of a curve. You understand that there is a curve that the slope has to be found for a particular curve. So again, it is up to you, the computational scientist, to define what curve should be fit in. Okay. Now you see that the curve is for the scalar phi. Okay. The scalar phi is represented by a functional curve. So it is up to you to define it as a functional curve. What sort of function it should be? Can it be a linear function? Can it be a quadratic function? Can it be a higher order polynomial function? It is up to you to decide that. Okay. Having said that, it should also represent the physics while you represent the function. Okay. It should also represent the physics while you represent the function. So you taking some approximation for the type of function and the physics not agreeing with it, then you will have a completely mismatch with what you wanted and what the physics tells you. Okay. So how do you come to agreement of what physics tells you and what function you fit in? This is very see, when you have an argument like that, you can always think that problems usually dictate what type of scheme should be selected for a particular problem that you have in hand, and also a large amount of intuition and previous experiences on physics of similar related problems will help you select that. And also you should have a complete grasp of um, in the sense, in terms of a thoughtfulness or intuition on what can happen, what is important for the problem before detailing the function. Okay. Okay. So having said that, let us move to the next topic, which we discussed. We discussed that the heat transfer I was discussing an example for a heat transfer problem, or the convection diffusion equation written for the heat transfer problem in the steady state one dimension. On the left hand side, we had the advection term appearing, and the right hand side, the diffusion term involving the conductivity. Okay. So later we understood that this can be written in the form with, sorry. Okay. This can be, some terms can be extracted, or some non-dimensional term can be understood from the ratio of advection to diffusion strength. So I was trying to understand for a heat transfer problem, whether advection is of more importance or diffusion is of more importance for a problem. So if I have some knowledge about that, I can take some numerical scheme accordingly. Okay. Without knowing this, the numerical scheme I may select for a physics would be wrong when I simulate it computationally. So for a heat transfer problem, I repeat, for a heat transfer problem, the first and foremost thing that a computation scientist would do is to understand if the heat transfer, if it is involving advection along with diffusion, bulk motion of fluid along with the diffusivity of the fluid, then essentially, first one, the person has to calculate Beckley number, okay, before going into computation. And see, Beckley number is nothing but advection strength to diffusion strength. It gives you an understanding which is important for that particular problem. Is the problem governed by strong advection or the problem governed by diffusion? This is what it tells you. Okay. Now you understood that Beckley number is nothing but Reynolds number into Prandtl number. Okay. So, and it also gives an indication about which physics is more important for the current problem in hand. Okay. So having said that, let me move to the next uh, topic. Okay. Numerical schemes. Okay. Numerical schemes for, okay, let me take another color. So the topic which we would like to mention numerical schemes. Sometimes system or convection diffusion equations. Okay, so let us first discuss about. So this is usually called as this type of schemes are usually called as advection schemes. Okay, very important. Once a fluid starts moving, you require some numerical scheme to detail the physics of it. This is called as advection schemes in CFD. Okay, so when I say numerical schemes or convection diffusion equation, some people say advection scheme. Okay, so the very popular advection schemes are CDS, central difference scheme, central difference scheme, upwind schemes, okay. So here in upwind scheme, first order upwind, in second order upwind, so see, now we have slightly gone into complex physics theory part of the CFD, okay, which is very important. So this is why I told we require different levels of classes. Okay. So this sort of things could not be discussed initially in the first class or second class. Now we slowly have got into the stage where I can start discussing about this. Then the third type of scheme is for advection. So you please mind this is okay. Please remember when I highlight something it is of importance. I will only tell which is important for you. I will not explain much things which will take your time. So advection, this term is very important. So I'll come to that later, why that term is very important. Okay? Then quick scheme. So this is quadratic, upwind, interpolation, still joining, or convective kinematics. Convective kinematics. Then you have higher order schemes, okay, power law schemes. All this you can see in commercial software, okay. These terms you can see in commercial software when you try to solve a problem. Power law scheme. So power law, or I'll say that higher order schemes, higher order polynomial scheme. So people start pressing buttons without knowing which scheme to select, and they get different answers. Okay. So here, CDS, upwind, quick. In upwind itself, two types of upwind: first order upwind, second order upwind, and the one being power law scheme. Okay, higher order polynomial scheme. So this many schemes are very popular in CFD to detail what how the advection should be treated. Advection element, or that is the left hand side of the equation, should be treated. Okay, there is no doubt about the right hand side, which is the best scheme, but there is a doubt about which is the best scheme that is suitable for the advection. Okay, so in order to explain that, I'll go back to the PowerPoint presentation. So it is better drawn there. So I will go there. So see, whatever I am skipping now, we have to discuss all these things in the second level. Okay. This will all come in the second level. Okay. This is what we are talking about. Okay. The solver part. Okay. The solver part. The grid generation part, I have to go in detail because we are not mature enough now to detail the grid generation part. So let's talk about the solver part because we already came up to here. So the advection schemes, as I told you, based on the profile that you give for the phi, the scalar phi, which you're tracking, at the phase values, the phi has to be tracked at the phase. As you saw, that equation always has a suffix E or W, which is the phase value of the scalar. This can be, according to FOU, central difference, second order update, quick scheme, power law. Okay. Here, the industry usually prefers second order up scheme, second order upwind scheme to lighter schemes. Okay. So CD is a very light version. First order upwind is a very light version. Second order is but higher version to the upwind scheme. This is what industry prefers because industry needs quick solution to problems. They don't want accurate solutions. They want close solutions which they can start working on some model or prototype or something. So when we try to publish a paper, this is not enough. So I repeat that again. The industry always prefers fast solutions. They don't want to spend time on thinking about which is the most accurate solution. They don't have time for it. Usually, CFD simulations is required in an industry to get an insight how the model should look like, how the first prototype of the engineering application should look like. Okay, that sort of thing they'll take a opinion from CFD. Okay, and they already might have some previous working prototypes which is already there on the market, and they want to do some improvement on that. This is where they use CFD immediately. So unless otherwise it is aerospace application or something where they have to go for rigorous CFD applications before commissioning a space vehicle or aircraft, then they another way of looking at CFD can be thought about. Okay, but mostly industries prefer second order, first order, or central difference scheme. That is fast. Then academics interest. If you want to publish a paper, then we have to think about higher order schemes, how they would behave in higher order terms. Because always when you increase the polynomial, you have a chance that your curve fit is more appropriate. Okay, if the curve fit is more appropriate, and you get a very good solution with a higher order polynomial. But the problem here is that when you select a higher order polynomial, you have problems with numerical oscillation, or the problem tends to be very tough to converge, or the solution that you obtain will be taking a lot of effort from your side to control it from numerical oscillation, going far from the results that you're looking for. Okay, so this is one thing that is behind it. We'll come to that. Okay, so let us first start with the central difference scheme. The central difference scheme. Okay, the central difference scheme for the advection term. Okay, so just look at only this picture. Don't look at the what is written down because it may confuse you. I'll just explain going through the picture. Okay, so on the center we have on the left hand side you this confusing to you. Okay, this is one picture of the point P of our concern. Okay, the point P of our concern. It is located at the cell centroid of the cell of our interest. That particular cell has an eastern phase. Okay, similarly it has a western phase here. Then it has a western neighbor and an eastern neighbor. Okay, okay. So let me draw that before discussing the more complicated picture. I may draw it once myself. Okay. So we have one-dimensional steady state happening, also diffusion. So now you have the point P, you have the eastern phase, you have the western phase, you have the western neighbor, you have the eastern neighbor. And the advection is happening in this fashion. Okay, the advection is happening in this fashion. So let me think like that. Okay. So if this is the way in which advection happens, then mass transport is from here to here. And if this is the way advection happens, then this mass transport from here to here. So you can give sign conventions for you. Okay, in your code, you can write sign conventions for you. So we'll see how the things can be done in that perspective. So we'll come to that, all those things, don't worry. So here, I told you the equation for convection diffusion was this way. It is written in this fashion. So this was a one-dimensional. Steady state. So this part advection and this part diffusion. Okay. So now we needed a profile assumption for profile assumption is required for this. Profile assumption for phi is required. And as we told, the profile assumption can be either CDS or it can be obtained Q power law. So we are discussing CDS, central difference scheme, in taking the profile assumption. Okay. So here it says the derivative of the scalar at eastern phase should be found out. So here is our interest. So what is the value here? Okay. So if you are taking CDS for phi, central difference scheme for phi, then this would be, you can see that I have two values here, point P, have one value point P and one value at E. Okay. So I can say for CDS, dou phi by dou x at the eastern phase should be equal, okay, central difference scheme. So I can take phi E minus phi P divided by, so I already told you this by this notation we can give, this is delta x and this is given by the notation delta x E. Similarly, this is given by the notation delta x W. So I would say this divided by delta x P. Okay. So this is the derivative. The slope of the curve by central difference scheme is it is located centrally, and the values at either locations, which are neighbors, should be taken. For d phi, you have this phi E minus phi P, and delta x, you already have that value to the eastern node point from the point P. So it's as simple as that. So here it is for this value for phi E, okay, you have phi P plus phi E divided by 2 in CDS method. Okay, in CDS, you have the eastern value at the eastern phase is arithmetic mean of these two values. This is how central difference scheme works. Okay, you can take the arithmetic mean, and for W, you have two values on either side of the phase, the western phase value and the point P value. the arithmetic mean of it. Okay. So now I rewrite this equation. Which is already here with whatever I know now. Okay. So Fe for phi e, I can substitute this. Okay, I can substitute this here. Phi t plus phi e. So the capital letters represent the centroid values and small letters represent the phase values. Please be sure about it. Then the Western flux value W plus T divided by 2 is equal. Then this part. Okay, this part. I'm going to write this part. Okay, I'm going to write this part here. I. Okay, then del dou x, dou phi by dou x, that instant phase, we already wrote what it is. Okay, so I'll copy that here. Phi e minus phi p divided by delta x p. Similarly, you have this part, right? This part. You can just follow the same method. You can write this into E minus W divided by delta x W. Okay. So we have complete set of values in terms of neighborhood points. Earlier we had values that has to be evaluated at the phase values, phase point. The points were at the phases. Okay, the derivative were to be found at the phases. Now we converted all those things in terms of node point values or the cell centroid values. So we converted all those things into values in terms of cell centroid. This is very important to know that. So now we have Fe, okay, instead of all the phase values, according to central difference scheme for advection. Okay, central difference scheme for advection. So I'll write series minus FW QW plus 2 to the phi e divided by 2 is equal to, I'm just rewriting because I lost information in the previous page. Don't worry about all these things. Okay, it is not very difficult. It is very simple. You need to inspect on your own. Okay, at least once, then it will be very simple. So, and also we told that this part is known as diffusion strength. Okay. So this part which had the terms involved was called as diffusion strength. So this was called as diffusion strength at eastern phase, and this is diffusion strength at western phase. So we can altogether write Fp. So now I am going to club every term in terms of phi p. Okay. Now I am going to club everything in terms of phi p. So you have Fp by 2, okay, minus, here we have 2 here, Fw by 2. So here we had P appearing, okay, just what's not E, just T. So Fw by 2, the phi p is common, and then plus dE plus dW Okay, you take this phi p to this side, and this collectively known as d naught, and the other one collectively known as dw. So you can take that on the left hand side. Okay, this part phi p. Then it is equal to dE minus Fe by 2 into AE RE, and then you had plus dW small letter plus FW divided by 2 phi west. Okay. So you see that now we could rearrange the same equation. So rearrange the same equation with the node point or the cell-centroid values, point P, cell-centroid value at the eastern face, western face with a coefficient of. So now we can write this also as AP, phi P is equal to AE, phi E plus AW, phi W. So I'll just mark this particular equation. Okay, write this equation. Mark this equation. Where this part is AP, the coefficient at the point P, and this part is AE, and this part is nothing but AW. So the coefficients is now multiplied with the respective the scalar at the point, so as to rearrange the equation in this form. So you see this is a linear equation. This is a linear algebraic equation. This is a linear algebraic equation. So it is similar to equation of a line. Okay. So it's a linear algebraic equation. So imagine you doing this for all the grid points, all the cells, grid points within the domain. You have a collection of such linear algebraic equation. Okay, where did you start from? Okay, where did you start from? You started from convection diffusion equation. Okay, which essentially was describing a nonlinear physics. Okay, which is essentially describing a nonlinear physics. And you came to an equation which is a linear algebraic form, which is now solvable by some technique, Gauss-Seidel or some other matrix alteration technique. Because you can have a set of such equations described in the node points. So now I say that this equation is pertaining to the point P with reference to what happens at the western phase and eastern phase, eastern node and western node. Okay, so this is how the equation appears. So imagine you have so many similar cells stacked up in the domain. So you have so many cells, similar cells stacked up in the domain. Okay, where this one-dimensional flow is happening. The one-dimensional flow is happening. So we have so many cells which is stacked up. Okay. So with respect to a particular set of computation, you have so many information available, so many P. Okay, so many P. So we are talking about one P in relation to two neighbors. So similarly, if you see a set of points in the domain, you see a set of points in the domain. When this is P, this is E, and this is W for that P. If you are taking this as the P, then this is E and this is W. So if you go on putting this in a loop or iteration loop, you see that every cell is a P for itself with respect to its neighbor east and west. Okay, it's just like saying that we are always concerned about ourselves, but everybody around us are neighbors to us. Okay, for that particular neighbor, we are a neighbor. So similarly, think about all individual cells. They are all P's for their respective advection or diffusion that is happening. So all the neighbors constitute the E or W term for that particular P. So you have a set of linear algebraic equations for the domain. So if you have 1,000 cells, you have as many number of information available in a matrix. Okay. So now your problem is to solve this linear algebraic equation that is given. So every phi p will have a coefficient term AP, A for phi E, or AW for phi W. Okay. Are you able to follow what I'm trying to tell you? Should I put it in some other way? Are you able to comprehend what I'm trying to tell you?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear that is my explanation clear? Are you able to visualize what is happening with this
Yes, sir.
equation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I was trying to tell you is, so this is the linear algebraic form of equation when CDS is applied. Okay, when central difference scheme is applied as a numerical scheme for profile assumption. Okay, we started with this equation, the convection diffusion equation, which is true for all the physics. Okay, which is true for all the physics, the convection diffusion equation. We thought that this should be found out. For finding out this phi, we needed a profile assumption for phi. And we thought that, okay, for advection as well as diffusion, let us take a central difference scheme. This is our thought process. So we told that, okay, CDSV is going to be taken for, central difference scheme is going to be taken for the profile assumption of phi. So CDS for phi means that at any particular phase, the value of phi would be the arithmetic mean of the two adjacent points, grid points. So for this particular phase value, the arithmetic mean is this value at p and this value is e divided by 2. Similarly, for the phase value phi w here, the arithmetic mean would be phi w plus phi p divided by 2. So this is small w and this is capital W. Now again, the equation calls for a derivative, the first derivative, which is slope at the phase. Then you see that by central difference method, the slope should be the value at eastern phase minus value at the point P divided by the distance of separation. So this is the simplest assumption because it's working on a linear profile assumption from P to E. Okay. Now, similarly, you can find the slope at the western phase. And then you just substitute that values in the parent equation. Okay, with the parent equation, one-dimensional convection diffusion equation. So that you see that you can club together parameters to represent advection strength, which is already there, in terms of the diffusion strength by clubbing together the geometric quantity. Okay. Now you see that the equation rearranges itself with the scalar values at the different points multiplied with some coefficient. And the coefficient is nothing but some arithmetic operation with the advection strength and diffusion strength involved. Okay. And for central difference scheme, you see that the arithmetic, the coefficients that manifest are AP, which is this quantity, FE minus FW by 2, and DE plus DW, and AE, which is DE minus FE by 2, and AW, which is DW plus FW by 2. Okay, so diffusion strength at western phase plus advection strength at western phase divided by 2. Now, another important or interesting fact is that Fe minus Fw are both the same for diffusion, the advection, because Fe is nothing but rho u, okay, which is happening from the eastern phase. So the last 5 minutes, we will try to open Fluent and see what is how this things appear in the commercial solver. So then FW is nothing but advection happening at the western face. Okay. So if you think about a one-dimensional uh, advection, it is a one-dimensional advection. This is W, and this is eastern face, and this is the point P. So FW means rho U at the western face, and FE means rho U. The cell is having a constant thickness delta Y. Okay, so this phase and this phase is a constant. Let me say rho area into U at the western phase is equal to rho area U at the eastern phase, because this is continuity equation. It's equal. See what I'm writing here? Anyone? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Disconnected. Am I audible to you guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes. What happened? It's great silence.
Yes, sir. Yes,
What
sir.
happened to
Audible.
you guys? It's great silence.
Yes, sir.
Why are you so silent? Is it very difficult?
ശരിയായില്ല.
Don't do the solver interface. You will understand why I'm telling you all these things. Okay. Think that it is very simple. It's not very difficult. Not lost interest in theory. We're talking very basic things. And I'm saying that continuity equation rho u at the western and rho u at the eastern face is same, because area is a constant, rho AV, that is the mass flow rate. You already know it's elementary equation which you learn in fluid mechanics. Okay. So here in that case, so since that is same, you can even neglect this part. You can, because Fe is nothing but rho u E, and Fw is rho u W, which is are the same. You can take this out. So the AP, the coefficient for the point P is only dE plus dW. Okay, so it is as simple as that. So let me say why I talk, why I discuss all these things here. Okay, so let us assess this assessment is very important for application before you take pressing the button on a commercial solver. So let us assess the central difference scheme. Okay, let us assess what is the possibility of using the central difference scheme. Let me take an example. So let's say the diffusion strength at the eastern face is some value, okay, and which is same as the value at the western face. I'm giving a small example to prove something. And the advection strength at the eastern face is some value which is similar to the advection strength at the western face. Okay, so I have a value at the eastern face which is 50. Okay, and I have a value at the western face which is 20. for the scalar. Let me say that the scalar is temperature. Just imagine 50 degrees Celsius on the eastern face and 20 degrees Celsius on the western face. Let us see. So in this way, the way we have got AE is nothing but DE F. Okay. So and have another value which is dW plus FW by 2. This is 50 by T. Okay. So I am going to I am saying 5P. It is AE 5 plus AW 5W divided by AP. Okay, which is 5W. So this gives me A is minus 5 into 5 is for this particular problem. Then AW is 45 and 5W is 20 and AP for this particular problem AE plus A. So is it given or not? Let me check. Is DTE, sorry, DE plus DW. So for this particular problem, it is 40, 20 plus 20, which is 40. So let me substitute that here. Can anybody give the answer for this? Can you compute this? 250 plus, can anybody do this arithmetic? How much it would return?
So 65 by 4.
And how much is that? On the top, you have 900 minus 250, right?
Yes.
Six. Okay. So it is 32.5 and 16 point something, right? 16 point something. 16 point plus 16 point. Okay. So let me draw this. Okay. This value is important for the physical understanding. So let me draw. I had this point W. I started with having a value with the western value of the grid node point value was, let me say it was temperature. Okay, the temperature was it. So it was 20. So let me draw in a scale. This is 10 and this is 20. So this is 20 in my scale. Okay, so let me say 20 degrees Celsius for you to understand, 20 degrees Celsius. And on eastern face, the value was 50 degrees Celsius. So the scale is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 50. So 50 degrees Celsius, the temperature. Okay, so now my solution gives an answer at the point P. The value for temperature is 16.25 degrees Celsius. So it is below this. This is 16.25 degrees Celsius. So which means that it has to go like this and it has to go like this. Okay, there is a temperature drop at the point P when compared with the values at the two end faces of the cell. So this is a cell now. This is a cell for which I am, so this is a cell for which I am doing the computation. This is a cell for which I am doing the computation. And at this, the cell, there is a drop of information. There is a drop of information when compared to the two neighboring cells. Okay. Is it visible on your screen? I have drawn something, but I think it's not updated on the screen. Is it visible on your screen?
No, sir.
Not visible, sir.
So the presentation has gone.
So let's wait. Wait. Let me switch on my Wi-Fi hotspot. It will be better. So in the next level, we start using the software. Okay. So in that, while using the software, we come to know this is important to know this. Okay. So we are there. Okay. So can you see the screen? Can you guys see the screen?
No, sir.
No, not yet. I'm sorry to do. So I'll wind up within 5 minutes after showing the software interface for this. So 5:15, not more than 5:15 I said. Okay, now it is 5:05. So can you see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
So what I was trying to tell you is when you used a CDS, center difference scheme, for an advection, you have information. You look at the cell which I have drawn. At the cell western neighbor, the information was 20 degrees Celsius. On the eastern neighbor, he was at 50 degrees Celsius. And using CDS as a scheme, profile assumption scheme for the physics, I got the cell-centroid value for the point of concern at 16.25 degrees Celsius. So physically imagine what is happening here. I have a neighbor who is at 20 degrees Celsius. I have a neighbor who is at 50 degrees Celsius. Okay, so either sides, I have a neighbor here, a person who is at 20 degrees Celsius and a person who is 50 degrees Celsius are on either of my sides. And I am at 60 degrees Celsius, which is below both of them. Which means that something has happened to me for lowering my temperature. I was put in a heat sink. Okay, it means that I was put in a heat sink. Normally, this should be specified in the physics. If there was a heat sink, it should have been specified in the physics. But writing plainly a convection diffusion equation without any heat sink mentioned in the problem, there is a drop in temperature at the center, while the neighbors are at higher temperature. And the advection is happening. And normally we would expect 20 degrees Celsius to 50 degrees Celsius connected by a profile. The value should be something between 20 and 50. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But here you see that the value is neither 20 nor 50, not in between 20 or 50. It is a value below that. So what do you think is the problem? Is the computation correct with series for advection?
No, sir.
So there is something. And on closing, you see that all the coefficients here, AW, DW, DE, okay, sorry, AW and AP, okay. The equation had mention of three different coefficients, AP, and AW was positive, it is 45, it is again positive, and AE is negative. AE is negative. Understand what I'm trying to tell you. A negative coefficient coming in between a positive coefficient while solving because it is condition is known as violation criteria. Okay. Have neighborhood cells, okay, more than what the diagonal cells are placed. This will cover in the next level, okay. So in that case, you can just plainly see the negative coefficient appear for the eastern cell, and while the other coefficients are positive. Like CDS, when you use for advection. The advection, all advection schemes. We have to think about it whether we can use it or not based on some criteria, which we'll discuss later. Okay. So I hope that this is it till now. So let me recap what we have discussed till now in today's class. Okay. So in today's class, we discussed about. Okay, we discussed about the. Okay, we discussed about the one-dimensional steady-state convection diffusion equation, and we started discussing about the various numerical schemes which are available in commercial solvers and how to pick which scheme. So in order to understand how to pick which scheme, we just started with CDS, central difference scheme, and we understood that central difference scheme is not always preferred for the advection scheme because it can lead to physical inconsistency, which I have to go into detail in the next level to get you familiar with it. And we have to discuss all the other schemes in the next level, upwind scheme, Quick scheme, power law scheme. Okay, and this all have to be discussed in conjunction with the software. I have to open up the software and show you that. So for today, let me do that. If you give me 5 minutes, I'll do that for you, where these things are available in the software. Okay, so I'm going to Workbench. Okay. So I hope you already have downloaded the software, because in the next level we may require all those usage of the software along with theory, because we have come to their position which we can slowly start using the software. So when I say some theory, I will go to the software and show where it is available and why it is so, and what to pick and when to pick it. So can you spare 5 minutes for me? I hope you can. Is it okay?
It's okay, sir.
So here, let me go. So this is the So here, this is the workbench. Okay, this is the workbench. I want to solve a problem in Fluent, which I already have. Okay, let me draw. So now, if you want to do a select writing setup. Okay, is it visible on your screen? I hope it is. So you right click on the as I told yesterday. So how many of you have the Ansys installed on your system? Do you have all the 35 or present here? Do you have Ansys installed on your system? You're not getting an answer. Please, ma'am, Shida, ma'am, please try to get it downloaded from the website and you can install it. So once you are here, you can select the plane. Okay. So you can select the plane. You can orient the plane. I'll teach you how to do this. Okay, people who are not familiar, I'll teach you to do this in the next level. I create a box. Okay, so I create a sketch and then I create a plane out of it. Okay, so now I'm just going to show you some simple problem so that I can get you familiarized with where the numerical schemes are available. So I'll just go on to the how to do this. I'll explain. Okay, in the next level. I'm just showing one small example for the benefit of all to see where the numerical schemes are available. So I have opened the meshing part. Okay, I have opened the meshing part. So, okay. So if I give generate mesh, the mesh should be something like this. Okay. So I can correct the mesh and everything. Don't worry about it. I want to show the numerical scheme. So I'm just passing to the next model section. That is setup. Okay. I hope it doesn't throw an error. So whatever we have drawn is coming here on the screen. So here on the left side, you have the different models which we are discussing. Okay, you see that we have different models which are here. So this selection of models depend whether you have a laminar flow, a turbulent flow, a viscous flow, or energy-driven flow. Okay, you see here a multi-physics problem. So selection of the model is very important. If you have a temperature involved, I would select the energy on because it gives me a provision to do that. So default, it is off. I can select it if it is a temperature involved problem or temperature gradient involved problem. So if you are not selecting viscous, you see that the viscous model offers all the things we discussed in our first class. It says that we can model an inviscid flow. You know what is an inviscid flow now because I already explained to you. You also know what is a laminar flow. Okay, and then these are all turbulence models, which is left for further higher levels. Okay. So at least you know these two, inviscid flow, laminar flow, and a generic classification of turbulence model. Okay, which I will explain it later. So this do you know which one to select? Okay. So let me say that I have selected laminar. Okay. So now you see that in the methods section, in the methods section, in the method section, the solution method or solver section, we have what I am discussing now. Okay. In the advection scheme, I told you the advection schemes are different types. One is the CDS advection scheme, and then one is the up-in scheme, which is first order up-in scheme, second order up-in scheme, quadratic up-in interpolation for convective kinematics, which is quick scheme. Okay, and also I told you power law schemes are available. That you can see here. See the momentum part. I'm not talking about the pressure or gradient part. I'm talking about, I will also explain what is pressure and gradient part in the next level, how it is to be selected. In the momentum part, you see that by default it is second order up in scheme. And you see that in the presentation we told industry prefers the second order up and above for their answers, the numerical scheme for advection. Advection scheme for second order up and above. You see here, if you come to Fluent, the default option that is given by Fluent is second order up, okay, which actually relates with what we have already mentioned. And we can go for first order up scheme and second order up scheme and quick scheme and third order MUSL. You see here, there is no CDS scheme available here, even though we discussed CDS scheme in our lecture. We discussed CDS scheme for advection scheme. We discussed CDS schemes for advection scheme, but CDS is not available. CDS is not available in the Fluent solver because of this reason, which we have discussed now. Because of this reason, which we have discussed now. On assessment of CDS, you see that you can get wrong results with CDS for advection scheme. This is why the commercial solver doesn't have CDS here for advection scheme. It starts with first order, second order, you can the higher order power scheme. Do you get it? What I'm trying to tell you?
Integration.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this sort of insight will slowly develop in the coming lectures in conjunction with the commercial solver. Then only you'll be very comfortable using the solver in. Otherwise, you'll never know why you have to pick up that button. Okay, this is what I'm trying to tell you. In the coming sessions, we'll slowly explain each of this and tell you which is to be the correct one and why some things are available, some things are not, and why some things should not be picked in relation with the others. So, is it clear till now? Whatever I was trying to tell you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it okay? So, thank you very much for attending the first level of the CFD training that I had to offer. So, towards the drag and some construction work and everything is going on my house. So, I got a bit engaged with the work today. That's why I feel a bit tired today. Otherwise, it is okay. Okay. My energy level is a bit low today because of I was being with the workers from morning till now. So otherwise I am okay. Okay. So don't think that I am not interested to continue. It's a bit of low energy level today. But somehow I managed to cover whatever I thought of covering till level 1. Because I wanted to give a theory background and along with it the software background. So initially starting with the software and explaining something which will never make a sense to you guys if you are in a beginner level. So now we have come to a stage where you will understand what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. Now you can pick up much faster in the next level. Okay. And we have to use the software in the next. Hand in hand with the theory. So earlier a bit of theory was required. Please pardon or please, but it was necessary as you see it. Okay. So I hope to launch the second level soon. Okay, probably this month itself. But another 5 or 10 days gap. After that, I will launch the next level. Please ask your friends, your colleagues, everybody to take note of this course. And if you think that this is